Oh, do I seem like a beast? Are people going to hate me? Will I be despised? Will I lose subs? Hello, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new around here, welcome. Thank you very much for stopping by. My name's Kit, and this is my world. Today I'm going to be doing a book tag, and this is the Efftup Book Tag, originated by Daniel at Guilty Feet. I'll leave a link in the description below. This is going to be quite a difficult tag for me to do, because it's the Efftup Book Tag, and I can't abide censorship in any form. If I see the word effed, especially if it's presented thusly, with asterisks and things, I immediately want to say, fuck, fuckity fuck. And luckily this tag is presented in a more appealing way, aesthetically at least, because it's spelled out as effed. So I will try and say effed where possible, but occasionally I may say fuck. And if that bothers you, tough, it's my channel, I can do what I like. Question number 1. A book that was effed up in a good way. Well, this one's easy because I've just read it. It's Dead of Winter by S.J. Paris, otherwise known as Stephanie Merritt, and I really enjoyed this book. I did a review of it, so I won't talk about it anymore here because you can see my review. It's the one with me in the snow. Question number 2. A book that was effed up in a bad way. Again, this is very easy. The Bible. Hello, Editor Me here. I should probably point out that the reason I've chosen this book specifically is because the Bible has generally not been very kind to my people. Question number 3. A book that everyone loved, but you think is just effed up. I struggled with this one. In fact, I struggled so much that I still don't have a definitive answer. The problem that I keep bumping up against with this question is the fact that I can't help but take it literally, and there's no book that everyone unanimously loves. I can't even think of a book that most people unanimously love. But one that comes close, I suppose, is the Bible again. So that's a book that many people around the world love and revere, and genuinely, for reasons that baffle me, believe it to be the word of God. I think that's all very effed up. So the Bible again. Sorry. Question number 4. Sexy as effed up. Well, the reason I'm struggling with this question is because as far as sex, nudity, sexuality, any of that stuff is concerned, I don't have any hang-ups at all. It's one of the few areas of life where I have no triggers, no hang-ups, I'm completely at ease. I love sex, I love nakedness. If 30 people were dancing and skipping around this room naked at the moment, I wouldn't be overly concerned. In fact, the only thing I'd really worry about is if they were going to disturb Frodo in her sleep. But I love all that stuff. I love nakedness. If people were to get down and start bonking right in front of me, I wouldn't bat an eyelid. I might shift position to get a better view. I may try and direct them. I may suggest some more interesting positions that they could try, but I wouldn't be bothered in any way, shape or form. So there are no books that I'm aware of that are effed up. I've thought of a couple of subgenres. Vampires are, especially in modern depictions, very sexualised, and that's essentially necrophilia. And although I've got nothing, if you want to go and shag a corpse, have at it. I won't interfere. It's not my bag. It doesn't make my socks roll up and down. But necrophilia, I suspect, is one of the things that most people would consider effed up, and vampires are definitely dead. So if you're bonking a vampire because you're in Vampire Diaries or something like that, then that's probably necrophilia and possibly could be considered effed up. And similarly, werewolves. Werewolves are animals. They're beasts. So if you shag a werewolf, as what's-her-name did in Thingy, whatever that film was, oh my god, Jenny Agutter in American Werewolf in London, that's bestiality, I think. Although she shagged him in human form, so I don't know whether it counts. But he's not really a human if he can turn into a werewolf. He's just a werewolf who happens to be in human form. So it's bestiality. Werewolf shagging is bestiality, and vampire shagging is necrophilia. And both of those things could arguably be considered effed up. Question number 5. Effed up for kids. Again, I struggled, and it seems to me that the problem I'm having is that either I'm not reading enough effed up books, so I can't think of specific titles, or I'm reading plenty of effed up books, but they're just not bothering me, so I'm not identifying them as effed up. But in the realm of kids' books, again, I can't think of any specific titles, but I would consider it effed up if it did anything to make them feel bad about themselves or try to instill bigoted ideas or beliefs. That would be effed up. If a book actively tried to make children feel bad about themselves or become bigoted, definitely that would be effed up. Question number 6. An effed up classic. The first one is The Last Battle. Now, I've mentioned several times that it was the Narnia Chronicles by C.S. Lewis that really got me into reading fantasy in a big way. They are books that I've had literally all my life and loved. I talk about them as a collection, as the Chronicles of Narnia, as if they're all great, but actually some of them are better than others, and one of them I can't stand, and it's The Last Battle. I read it when I was very young and absolutely hated it. In fact, I was very disturbed by it. I found it disturbing. I found it traumatizing. I found it deeply, deeply upsetting. It messed me up. In fact, now that I think about it, it's probably one of the childhood books that's messed me up more than anything else. And I read it again when I was older, probably a late teenager, and hated it just as much for a lot of the same and for several different reasons. It's not my cup of tea, but I think I will go as far as to say that it's an effed up book. And if you've read it, you probably know why. I'm going to mention another one as well, and I'm not sure if this really counts, but Gulliver's Travels. I don't like the little people. Question number 7. Effed up in translation. Well, this is a difficult one because I don't read many translated books, and the ones that I have read are most emphatically not effed up. I mean, the one that springs immediately to mind is The Count of Monte Cristo, and that is one of my all-time favourite books, translated from French into English, and I love it. I can't think of anything wrong with that. And again, Jules Verne. Lots of the Jules Verne books I absolutely love. Those are translated. I can't think of any problems. The only thing I can think of that could possibly fall into the category of effed up in translation isn't a book at all, although its distant ancestor is a book, or was a book. It's Les Miserables by Victor Hugo, but it's not the book, it's the musical, and the effed up part isn't the translation into English. I think the English lyrics for Les Mis by Herbert Kretzmer are absolutely, and Alain Boublil as well, he wrote the French lyrics. The English translation by Herbert Kretzmer, I think, is absolutely gorgeous. The translation that I take issue with is the translation from Kretzmer's English lyrics to the Japanese version. Apparently, according to Kretzmer himself in one of the documentaries, the Japanese lyrics, it takes 3 words in Japanese to say 1 word in English. So therefore, if the show was to be translated properly, literally, it would be 9 hours long. So in order to keep it 3 hours long and to keep it scanning with the melody, 2/3 of those magical, magnificent, clever, witty words are lost. The Japanese people who see Les Mis in Japanese miss out on 2/3 of the magnificence, and that bothers me in ways that I can't even describe. Question number 8. Effed up non-fiction. This is an easy one to answer, and I can finally give you a specific title. It's Irreversible Damage, the Transgender Craze Seducing Our Daughters, which is, of course, a work of fiction, even though it's non-fiction. It's a despicable book in every single conceivable way. I despise that book so much that I'm not even going to give it any more screen time on my channel. In fact, I resent even having to mention it at all. But it's such an evil book, such a destructive book, and such a fictitious book that it certainly has no place in the realms of non-fiction, and it has no place on any bookshelf in any sane, reasonable, non-bigoted, tolerant world. Question number 9. Illustrated effed up. Now, I saw Nell's brilliant answer to this question on Gunpowder, Friction and Snot, and I really can't do any better than that. There are a plethora of books from particularly the 1950s that are unspeakably racist in their illustrations, and I think Nell nailed it with that one. Question number 10. I'm not going to bother with a graphic for this one because it's a lot of writing and typing, or even copying and pasting, and it's going to take up too much space on the screen, and actually I don't even understand it. It's not presented as a question. I'm struggling with it a bit. I suppose it's presenting you with a statement and then expecting you to discuss it, perhaps? I don't know. It says, question number 10, Hanya Yanagara's A Little Left Up, a book that is just misery porn solely designed to convince you how effed up the world is. So I'm just supposed to discuss that. I haven't read it. I've not heard of it. It's completely outside of my knowledge and beyond my ken. However, I will say that I don't need misery porn to tell me how fucked up the world is. I spend my life looking at the world and going, how fucked up is that? I read mostly to escape from that, and occasionally to remind myself of the bits that aren't fucked up. So my reading habits are more to do with escapism or finding a more attractive reality to focus on, because the effed upness of the world is everywhere and it's very, very apparent. And question number 11 says tag people, and as is now tradition on my channel, no, I'm not going to tag anyone. I think I tried to tag people in my early videos, but it didn't really work out. And honestly, I don't feel comfortable tagging people because it feels a little bit like I'm imposing on them and sort of thrusting a load of work at them that they might not particularly want to do. And if they decline to do it, then I feel bad. I think they don't like me. So I'm just not going to create any of that sticky, uncomfortable, awkward situation for myself or for them. I'm simply going to say, if you want to do this tag, consider yourself tagged, and I'll leave it at that. And on that note, I think I'll call it a day. Thank you very, very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did and you haven't already, you know what to do. Please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and I will see you next time. See you later.